prayer. All brothers remove the head coverings. All sisters pray with the heads covered. And we face the east toward Jerusalem, where our temple was, and where our temple in Hamashiach shall return. Brother West, can you open us up in prayer, please?
Our Father, Yah, Elohim, Abraham, Yishak, and Yaakov. We thank you, Father, Yah, for allowing us another time to come together and to gather together to study your word, Father, Yah. And we ask you, Father, Yah, please guide us, Father, Yah, in this hour, Father, Yah. Please strengthen us in this hour, Father, Yah. Please allow us to open up your word for us so that we can understand it more clearly. And for those who already have an understanding, please help strengthen their understanding, Father, Yah. And we pray that we can give a class tonight, Father, Yah, that is in accordance with your word and not our own thoughts, but in line with your will, Father, Yah. And we ask you, Father, Yah, give us an understanding of the time that we're in so that we can act accordingly, Father, Yah. And help us to do our part, Father, Yah, to help manifest your kingdom, Father, Yah. Show us how we can serve you, Father, Yah. In Yashra'al Hamashiach's holy mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, shalom. My name is Yashra'al. I'm with my brother Wesley Yashra'al. Shalom.
Sure.
And we are Savior Word of Yah Ministries. And as we approach closer to the Feast of Trumpets, closer to the season of the trumpets being fulfilled, we're seeing a lot going on in the earth. And you know, when the king comes in, you know, he blows the trumpet, you know, the king is coming, and to his people, you know, if he's a good king, then as well, you know, great, excellent. To others, when he comes in, it may not be so great. It may not be exciting to some because of the situation of the king coming in. Also, when you go to war and you hear those trumpets blowing, the noise blowing of the trumpets, if it's the soldiers are coming to help you, it's praise Yah, hallelujah. But if they coming against you, then it's a fearful time. And this is the duality that we're dealing with within this trumpets, within the Feast of Trumpets, Teruah, which can be a battle cry, or it can be, celebration. It could be either one. And the Feast of Trumpets and the season of trumpets being fulfilled is not great for those that don't want to convert over to the new way of things. And it's great for those that are waiting and asking, when is the kingdom approaching? When are we going to be a nation? So we're going to take a look at that whole concept and first get an idea of what the trumpets means. When you hear the trumpets, there's specific instructions with the trumpets when the trumpets are blowing. So we're going to first open up in Numbers, Bamidbar, chapter 10. And we're going to read 1 through 10, and we're just going to get an understanding of the trumpets, what the trumpets mean. And shalom, Bridget Robinson. Good to see you, sis. And shalom, brother Christopher Thomas. Good to see you as well, family. Bamidbar, Numbers chapter 10, and we're just going to read verses 1 through 10.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Make you 2 trumpets of silver, of a whole piece shall you make them, that you may use them for the calling of the assembly and for the journeying of the camps.
All right, so when they make that trumpet, it's supposed to be 2 trumpets of silver, and it's a whole piece. That means it's one whole piece. It's that long bugle like that. There's not like a regular trumpet that has valves. It's just a regular long trumpet. It's metal. It's different than the shofar. With the shofar, when you blow that shofar, that's a whole different story. The shofar is a ram's horn, so this is different. This is for the calling of the assemblies and journeying of the camps. This is the movement of the children of Yashra'al. So when the children of Yashra'al hear trumpets, there's some kind of movement. I mentioned, I believe on Shabbat, and this is still carrying on where I'm hearing every song that I listen to now, just randomly, I'm hearing these trumpets in my ears. And that's new to me, and it could be psychological, be anything, but it's new to me to hear something like that other than a song or music just playing in my ear. And it's letting me know, okay, the trumpets is a movement. It's to signify to move, some kind of movement for the children. So let's see what those instructions are.
Verse 3, And when they shall blow with them, all the assembly shall assemble themselves to you at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And if they blow but with 1 trumpet, then the princes, which are heads of the thousands of Yashra'al, shall gather themselves unto you.
All right, so this is instruction. This could be life or death. So this is important. So when you hear both trumpets blowing, that's the journeying of the camp. That means the assembly needs to come together, needs to come to the door of the tabernacle when you hear both trumpets blowing. Now, if they blow with just 1 trumpet, then that means it's the heads, the princes, the heads of the thousands have to gather themselves together. So now, if they call in just the princes and here you come walking up there because you heard trumpets, you didn't follow the instructions. If you're not one of the heads, if you're not one of the princes, then you could get sent home. You could look foolish. Or if you are the prince and you heard that 1 trumpet, or you're one of the people in charge of tens of thousands, you have a charge, then and you don't come with the 1 trumpet, there's going to be a problem.
Question.
Go ahead.
When it says heads of thousands, is it saying that specifically there's 1 person and then that may be heads over 1,000 people? Or is it saying that there's 1,000 people with each of them having 1 head?
It's both. But what this is referring to is with Dawid, when Dawid was saying that, make you captains of tens, hundreds, and thousands, so that each person, or Moshe, so each person has somebody to report to, because when you want to deal with people, you can't just sit here and deal with everybody and talk to everybody. You got to you got to have captains. So there's order and structure and eldership and things of that nature, that when they call those leaders represent the people, and then they come.
Okay.
Some 10, some hundreds, some thousands. So I believe here where it's saying the heads of the thousands. So not just, you the head of your family and you got 100 people in your family, so you come. No, heads of the thousands. You'd be over the tribe. You'd be over, over a specific bloodline within the tribe, House of David or whatever.
Okay. Verse 5, we're in Numbers 10 and verse 5. When you blow an alarm, then the camps that lie on the east part shall go forward. When you blow an alarm the second time, then the camps that lie on the south side shall take their journey. They shall blow an alarm for their journeys. All
right, so it's also important for us to work together as a body. When they blow the alarm, now alarm, you know what an alarm sounds like? It's like when your car alarm goes, or your alarm in the morning. That's do, 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 do. It's not a consistent blow. It's something to warn you. So when you hear that, the first time you hear that, that's Yehuda. Yahweh goes up first. Then the second time, the tribes on the south go up first. So this is a order and instruction, because if you want the Judah to go up first, and then the southern tribes are supposed to go up first, and if they don't come up, this could cause us to lose. This could cause a whole tribe to get wiped out because people are not following instructions. Or, the tribes from the west side trying to move forward, or north side trying to move forward. And it's like, wait a minute, no, this is strategic. This is military. There's a reason why people are going in certain directions. We got to protect Jerusalem first, where the temple is.
Verse 7. But when the congregation is to be gathered together, you shall blow, but you shall not sound an alarm. And the sons of Aaron the priests shall blow at the trumpets, and they shall be to you for an ordinance forever throughout your generations.
So this is all our generations. So the sons of Aaron, the priests, these are the high priest bloodline, are supposed to be blowing these trumpets. And when you gather the congregation, it's not an alarm sound. All right, finish it up.
And if you go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresses you, then you shall blow an alarm with the trumpets, and you shall be remembered before Yahweh your Elohim, and you shall be saved from your enemies.
All right, notice it says, if you go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresses you. It don't say, well, you go to somebody else's land and try to fight them, and they trying to fight back. Well, you gonna call Yah? No, that's wickedness. Unless Yah sends you over there to go take somebody else's land, that's wickedness. You can't do that. Now, when they come into your land and try to oppress you, Yah said, call me. And if you follow my instructions, then my angels will fight for you.
Verse 10. Also in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginnings of your months, you shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your Elohim. I am Yahweh your Elohim.
Okay, so why would we blow in these specific days? Why would we blow the trumpet in the day of your gladness, on your solemn days, the beginning of your months? Why those specific days are you supposed to be blowing the trumpet?
We're supposed to gather, right?
Absolutely. Because the instruction is to gather on those days. This is how you're supposed to be in a solemn assembly on these days. You're supposed to be gathering, mikring on these days. Not only because Leviticus 23 gives you the holy days, but also here in Numbers chapter 10 by Midbar, it's also letting you know in the beginning of your months, Rosh Chodesh, beginning of the month, which is coming up. The seventh trumpets is the beginning of the seventh month. So that's a high holy day because it's a Sabbathon, which means it's treated as a Sabbath, even though it doesn't fall on the Sabbath. It's a holiday, a special holiday. It's a new month, which means it's a mikra anyways, and it's a holy day. All those on the same day. Holy day, a new month, and it's treated as a Sabbathon. Those three things make it a high holy day. All right, so let's move on. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 23, and we're just going to go over the law regarding trumpets, and then we're going to start to get into this trumpets a little bit. YAH, Leviticus chapter 23, and we're going to read verses 23. We'll start at verse 23.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Yashra'al, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, you shall have a Shabbat, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
All right, so it says, in the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall you have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets. Now, when you look for that word Sabbath, it's not talking about your weekly Sabbath. It's not saying you're going to start the month out with the Sabbath day, because it uses a different word. It uses the word Sabbathon. If you look at the Strongs for that number, it's 87677 for where it says Sabbath. So they didn't They use the same word, Sabbath, but it's a Sabbathon. And a Sabbathon, Shabbathon, is a Sabbatism, a rest period or special holiday. Now we know the Sabbath day is just the rest day. That's the day that we rest. But a Sabbathon is a regular day that is treated as a Sabbath. That is a special holiday. So the first, every new month isn't necessarily a Sabbathon. But on the seventh month, and also the first day of the seventh month, that new month is an actual rest day. Go ahead.
Verse 26. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, also on the 10th day of the month, of the 10th day of this seventh month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and you shall afflict your souls, an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
Okay, so it's talking about the Day of Atonement now. On the 10th day of the seventh month, you have the Day of Atonement, where there is a sacrifice, where they sacrifice that lamb, and they do the scapegoat, and they send the one for sin to go off into the forest. And there's a duality in that, because now you look at the first month, I believe on the 10th day of the first month is when you grab the lamb for your sacrifice. So there's a duality. You split the year into two. Beginning of the year, halfway through the year, you got, at the beginning of the year, first month, 10th day, you grab that Passover lamb. And then on the 14th at even is when you kill that Passover lamb.
Verse 28. And you shall do no servile work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before Yahweh your Elohim. We're in Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 29. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever soul it be that does any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people. You shall do no manner of work, it shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It shall be unto you a Shabbat of rest, and you shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even. From even unto even shall you celebrate your Shabbat.
All right, so now on this particular one, it's using both the term Sabbath and Sabbathon, which can be a little bit confusing. But the Day of Atonement will never fall on an actual Sabbath, because it is unlawful for you to fast on a Sabbath day. So that also lets you know that it can't fall on a Sabbath day. So if your calendar has your Day of Atonement falling on a Sabbath day, that's not consistent with the ancient calendar system. All right, so now looking at what these things represent with trumpets, the Hebrew word for trumpets is teruah, which is H8643, teruah, spelled T-E-R-U-A-H. And that's from H7321, meaning clamor. That is acclamation of joy or battle cry, especially clangor of trumpets and alarm, blowing of the trumpets, a loud noise, rejoicing. So that's what teruah means. So you have a day of teruah. So on this day of trumpets, you're screaming out loud. You're celebrating. You're proclaiming. You're making an acclamation of joy on this day, and you're remembering all the different trumpets that we had to go through. The different trumpets as far as when we had to run from the alarm when the trumpet was blowing, when we came back into the land and we kept trumpets, and the elders were crying for those that were actually in Jerusalem when they were taken away to Babylon, and were old men when they came back. So it's representing all those different things. And then also the trumpets represents the gathering of the people. So we have been scattered to the four corners of the earth. We have done our 400 years, and then trumpets institutes the gathering of the nation, us becoming a nation. So every trumpets we talk and we say, hey, this could be the year. This could be the year that trumpets actually is us gathering. It's also the war cry for the war that is about to happen, for what's about to happen 10 days later, which is atonement. So trumpets, every holy day, and if you've followed our classes before, is being fulfilled by Mashiach and fulfilled in time. So we start back to the first one, which was Passover. And we know that Mashiach fulfilled Passover by being our Passover lamb. And then he laid sinless in the ground for 3 full days and 3 full nights, being resting on the Sabbathon of unleavened bread. And then he was, after unleavened bread, then he was waved before the Father when he went before the Father and went to heaven. Because he didn't resurrect and go straight to heaven. He stayed on earth for a while. Then he went to the Father. And that was him representing Feast of First Fruits. And then when he allowed his Holy Spirit, the Comforter, to come down and stay with man, and we spoke in tongues, then he fulfilled Pentecost, which is the season that we're in right now, the church period where the Spirit is given out to all those who believe. That's the feast day time period, biblical timeline that we've been on. The next one after that is trumpets. So with this trumpets coming, literally the first trumpets of the 401st year of our captivity, there could be a significance. It could be a jubilee year. It could be all kind of things going on. But if you're not in tune with the holy day, in tune for what it stands for and what we're waiting on prophetically, then you won't have a clue of how to prepare, what to expect, what's coming our way. And we're going to get into that next, of what's supposed to be coming our way. And then 10 days after trumpets is your Day of Atonement. So prophetically, if we hit our trumpets and we become a nation, 10 days later, there's going to be a great mourning period where us as a nation are going to be collectively mourning something. All right, let's stop right there. Let's move on. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 25, and we're going to read 1 through 13. I mentioned Jubilee and what's the importance of that.
Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe in Mount Sinai, saying, Speak unto the children of Yashra'al, and say unto them, When you come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Shabbat unto Yahweh. 6 years you shall sow your field, and 6 years you shall prune your vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof. But in the 7th year shall be a Shabbat of rest unto the land, a Shabbat for Yahweh. You shall neither sow your field, nor prune your vineyard. That which grows of its own accord of your harvest you shall not reap, neither gather the grapes of your vineyard undressed, for it is a year of rest unto the land. And the Shabbat of the land shall be meat for you, and for your servant, and for your maid, and for your hired servant, and for your stranger that sojourns with you, and for your cattle, and for the beasts that are in your land, shall all the increase thereof be meat.
All right, so even the land has a Sabbath. Every 7 years, you're supposed to allow for the land to replenish itself, for it to allow it to, for fruit to fall to the ground and re-fertilize the ground and allow it to grow. So even the land had rest. So with us being in the land, being transgressing the law, not following Yah's instruction, constantly being a smoke in his nose, the land did not get to rest. So the land didn't get any rest till it spewed us out like it spewed the people that were there before us. So it's important that we prepare ourselves, and these things sound like laws that, what does this have to do with us? Like, we don't live there, we here. Well, we're preparing to go back according to the prophecies. You just look at the condition of this world right now, the condition of this country. This is not a place for us. That every opportunity they get, they make sure to let us know that we are not equal, we're not treated fairly, and that they don't want us here. But yet the powers that be understand that we are the money. We are what produces the money. So they want to keep us at our level, but they really don't want us here, but they need us. So we need to start being in tune with the land, being that many of us never even been to Africa. We don't have to understand all of Africa, but we need to understand how to dwell in our land peacefully so we can be blessed by the land.
Verse 8. And you shall number 7 Shabbats of years unto you, 7 times 7 years, and the space of the 7 Shabbats of years shall be unto you 49 years. Then you shall cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall you make the trumpet sound throughout all your land.
All right, so in the 7th year, in the 49th year, in the 10th day of the 7th month, which is atonement, is when they're blowing the trumpet to proclaim freedom. So you're supposed to let people go. So let's continue reading that.
And you shall hallow the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and you shall return every man into his possession, and you shall return every man unto his family.
All right, so you're supposed to hallow the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout all the land to all the inhabitants. So that's not only just your people, but even the strangers. You have to let them go, proclaim liberty, and send them back home to their family. It was never intended that we just keep somebody to work for us, that they're going to be forever be in a lower position, like they just some lifelong slave. It was never designed for that. After a certain period of time, it's like, all right, whatever you owed, it's done. Even if you can't pay it, all right, go back home, start over.
A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. You shall not sow, neither reap that which grows of itself in it, nor gather the grapes in it of your vine undressed. For it is the jubilee; it shall be holy unto you. You shall eat the increase thereof out of the field.
All right, so, okay, read that last verse.
In the year of this jubilee, you shall return every man unto his possession.
So in the year of the jubilee, you're to return every man to his possession. Now the question is, how many jubilees have passed in this country? They haven't even told us who we are, much less sending us back home. So how long are they going to keep refusing to acknowledge who we are and following the God of our fathers and the creator of all? And how long is Yah going to allow us to be here? Well, he told us we were going to be here for 400 years. That's how long we were going to be afflicted. Then he said in the next verse, that nation whom you serve will I judge. And we've seen the judgment process happen. And then it says, and afterward shall you leave out with great substance. So with this 401st year coming around, it could be literally the 50th year. It could be a jubilee year. We don't know. We have lost that. But in that, with trumpets, with a jubilee year, with an election year, with trumpets in the office, Trump and Pence, you have all these symbols. You have all these things showing you that this could be the year. Now, do we know for sure? No, we don't, because we don't have an exact marker. But if we follow things prophetically, it's aiming a lot at this time to happen. So we're going to get into more of the significance of what is so important about this trumpet and this jubilee if it should happen this year. Let's go to Ezekiel 33. Yechezkiel chapter 33.
Ezekiel chapter 33 and verse 1. Again the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of your people, and say unto them, When I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coasts, and set him for their watchman, if when he sees the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people, then whosoever hears the sound of the trumpet and takes not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head.
All right, so if you are a watchman, your job is to watch the walls. And when you see a threat come, blow the trumpet, blow the alarm so that the people can prepare and understand, hey, this is 3 o'clock in the morning, we all asleep. There's an intruder breaking in the house. There's an alarm. Now, if you 3 o'clock in the morning, somebody breaking your house and alarm going off, and you just say, F it, it'll go off eventually, and you get robbed and killed, that's on you. You can't blame ADT. Your alarm went off.
So I got a question. Because one of the things that I was thinking about was how is this going to play out for us, given that, okay, we know that we're waking up as a people, but there's still a lot of Hebrews that are still asleep, just so to speak. And so I was thinking like, okay, we all have family, we all have friends that don't know what's going on. So in that instance, would that make us the watchmen in this situation in our current condition, or?
Let's continue reading.
Okay.
And we'll see if it's going to answer that question for you.
Verse 5 in Ezekiel 33. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him, but he that takes warning shall deliver his soul. But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand.
All right, so notice that it says that if you blow the shofar and or you fail to blow the shofar and the people don't hear, and then the people get killed, notice it says he was taken in his own iniquity, the person that died. So in other words, Yah still letting you know, even if that watchman don't do his job, I'm still going to protect my people. But people that may be in their iniquity might get caught up in that. Because why is it necessary to mention, he'll be caught in his iniquity? But then yet it says, but the blood, even though that person is caught in his own iniquity, the blood is on the hands of the watchman.
Verse 7. So you, O son of man, I have set you a watchman unto the house of Yashra'al. Therefore you shall hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me.
All right, so he said, you son of Adam, you son of man, I have set you as a watchman. So the house of Israel, we are the son of Adam. We are that chosen seed. We are the watchmen. We know what to watch for because we've given instruction of the watch, what to watch for, what to not watch out, to not be worried about. So that's our job. When we see that, okay, a man is in his iniquity, we see death coming his way. So we're warning you, hey, brother, there's death coming. The wages of sin, singular, is death. So it's our job to warn. But if they don't listen, that's on them. But you can't play, mock Yah. You're going to blow the shofar real small so your enemy that stays across from you don't hear it and say, I blew it. No, you're not going to mock Yah. Just like you're going to try to tell your enemy, or, you're going to try to talk to your enemy real disrespectful and act like you trying to help them, but you don't really want them to listen. Yah not going to be mocked. So it's our job to do that.
Verse 8. When I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, you shall surely die, if you do not speak to warn the wicked from his way, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at your hand. Nevertheless, if you warn the wicked of his way to turn from it, if he do not turn away from his way, he shall die in his iniquity, but you have delivered your soul.
But you have delivered your soul. So what we don't understand, us as the watchmen of this world, our soul is literally, our body is literally connected to our brothers and sisters and the people we're responsible for. If we fail to warn the people that we are responsible for warning, which is everybody, starting with your own house and moving on to your own nation and anybody else that served the God of Israel, your soul is tied to that. The blood could be on your hand and you could be held accountable for somebody dying. So it's not enough to just deliver your own soul and you pay attention and you run and you don't say nothing because ain't nobody going to listen to you. That's not your job. Your job obviously is to deliver your soul, but it's also to help your brother or sister. That's why it says that you shall not hate your brother in your heart, and in any wise you shall rebuke him and not suffer death upon him. Because death is upon him if he's doing transgression and you see he's in his error and you don't say nothing. You don't even try to have his back. The eyes go this way. You looking that way. So if you're standing and you're looking at him, you can see him, but he can't see himself unless he's looking in a mirror.
Therefore, O you son of man, speak unto the house of Yashra'al. Thus you speak, saying, if our transgressions and our sins be upon us, and we pine away in them, how shall we then live? Say unto them, as I live, says my sovereign Yahweh, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his way and live. Turn you from your evil ways, for why will you die, O house of Yashra'al?
All right, so let's start right there. Let's move on. Let's go to Joel chapter 2. So what shofar should we be blowing right now? What is coming our way? We know the Feast of Trumpets is coming our way. The prophetic season of trumpets is coming our way. We have not fulfilled that yet. We're still in Pentecost, in the church period. What are we supposed to be warning the people about? What are we supposed to be telling people about? Now, when you start trying to warn people about danger and that it is not like tomorrow, people don't want to hear that. If it ain't going to happen tomorrow, what you telling me for? They get upset with you because they want to feel safe. They want to feel comfortable like everything's going to be all right. They'd rather be in vanity that, oh, everything's going to be great. Ain't nothing going to happen to us. Joel chapter 2. And let's start this at verse 1.
Blow you the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh comes, for it is near at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and a strong. There has not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devours before them, and behind them a flame burns. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run.
All right, so it's saying, blow you the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. For it's the warning of the day of Yahweh comes. It's near at hand. So this day of Yahweh, this judgment, this time where the Gentiles that have been ruling this nation will no longer be in rule and righteous judgment will be in place, that is coming forward. And that is a good thing. It's a bittersweet moment. It's sweet for those that are going to enter into the kingdom, but it's not so sweet for those that want to cleave on to Babylon, want to cleave on to the confusion. So if you are used to Babylon, you're used to doing things Babylonian, now all of a sudden you got to walk in righteousness and your life depends on it. That's a dangerous time to try to learn how to be disciplined when your life is on the line. You want to start practicing these things now. And if you haven't been practicing it yet, that's going to be very, very difficult. Because like we talked about the brain operates a certain way last week. It's used to doing certain things. So if you're not rewiring to at least consider a different path, a narrow pathway in your brain, because it's going to be very narrow. You got all these other pathways, and there's a little narrow path in your brain you haven't really worked out yet. If you haven't worked on that, it's going to be difficult to go away from the things. You're going to revert to those things that you're used to. Selfishness, self-preservation, fear, doubt, uncertainty, all those things that you're used to in this land of confusion.
Verse 5. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devours the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained, all faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded.
So this is something different. This is something different here. Soldiers that fall on swords that don't get wounded. They run in ranks. They are very organized, so they're not stabbing each other by accident. So this is something different, and this is what's coming our way. Something to come to destroy man on the day of Yah, for Yah's judgment is coming our way, and we don't know the day or the hour that Yahushua is returning, but we do know prophetic seasons. And we are ending one prophetic season. It said, hurt not the earth until my servants are sealed. And it also talks about the fulfillment of the Gentiles, the end of the Gentile rule. It talks about the fullness of the Gentiles be brought in. So the time of the Gentiles has to finish. And if we're looking at everything prophetic, it's showing us, and even if you just don't even deal with the Bible, you can feel something is coming. Times is different. We're already talking about 2020 might be the worst year we've ever experienced, period. I mean, even from a fantasy level, we lost the king. Even the Black Panther died. At one time we get a movie where we got a black king who ain't an idiot. Even in real life, he dies in the movie, and then he comes and he dies in this. It's just a rough world. And we lost sports figures. We lost icons and civil rights. Innocent man getting killed. It's just a lot going on. How long do we think this is going to keep going on in a circle, in a circle, in a circle, in a circle before Yah rains judgment on the earth? And this is what Elder Zahar was talking about in Shabbat, about this modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. Eventually, the cries and the screams of the innocent are going to reach heaven where they just tired. How many mothers got to cry for their children, their sons being killed? How many little girls got to cry for her daddy getting killed? How long does this have to go on?
Yoel chapter 2 and verse 9. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that it executes his word. For the day of Yahweh is great and very terrible, and who can abide it?
All right, so it says Yah shall utter his voice before his army. So he's talking about his army that's going to be doing a lot of this destruction. So that goes right back to what I said about the trumpets. When them trumpets blow, when that army coming in to free you, praise Yah. They about to free us from Babylon. All this destruction and all this oppression we dealing with, where you got a 17-year-old shooting up a bunch of people, and they send armored trucks and police and all out there, and they just look at him and say, oh, he white, oh, he got an assault rifle, underage kid with a, that's fine, as long as he's not black, and then drive off. And then we have to look at the contrast where you got kids getting shot in the back of the head for stealing an orange juice and all kind of foolishness. Not even men, women. A boy getting shot down in the street, by police, about to attend college. We got to watch those things. So when this army comes in, for those that are on the side of righteousness, we trumpet, we blowing trumpets, we excited. Yes, destroy this. When is judgment coming? But if you like this, if you okay with your brothers and sisters being killed, as long as it ain't you, then you're going to mourn because, man, now I can't do all the wickedness that I wanted to do. Now I can't have all the freedom to be a deviant the way I want to, because I know righteousness is coming in now.
Joel chapter 2 and verse 12. Therefore also now, says Yahweh, turn you even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning. And rend your heart, and not your garments, and turn unto Yahweh your Elohim, for he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repents him of the evil.
All right, so if you don't know that this day is coming, when it comes, or it's about to come, which we know now it's coming, It could be as early as a couple weeks from now. We don't know. It could be tomorrow. We don't know, but we know that's next. Just like if you know it's the summer, you ain't got to wait. Excuse me. You ain't got to wait for the groundhog to come up, in the winter, to come up to see if we're going to have a long winter. We know eventually summer is going to come after winter. Now, exactly when, they use a groundhog, but I'm sure you can use calendars to see how long things are going to be or weather patterns. But either way, we know something is coming. It might not come an extra 6 weeks of summer or whatever, or winter, or it may not. But we know it's coming. No different with trumpets. So this is telling us how we should be preparing for this. It says, turn, which is repent. If you're walking away from Yah, which means you're walking your way and not Yah's way. Turn back to him with all your heart, your mind, with all your thought process, and with fasting. Now remember, trumpets, then after trumpets, 10 days later comes what?
Atonement.
Which means we do what?
Fast.
Fasting. So there's going to be fasting. So we should naturally be fasting at the time of atonement after the trumpets. And it says, and with weeping and mourning. Not celebration. You shouldn't be celebrating because a lot of people are going to be dying. Now, yes, we want to be happy that Yah's will is going to be done. But on the other side, we have to also consider, man, a lot of our people are going to get killed. A lot of our people are going to get wiped out. If they're not wiped out in the judgment of America, they're going to be judged at the borders, going into the land. So, you want people to have a better opportunity. Everybody don't wake up. We had a mother in our assembly. She, Mother Azariah, she was like 70 when she got immersed. 70 years old. Some people don't even make it to be that old. So she did not repent until she was 70. She had that time. So you want people to have that time to mature when Yah matures them. And when this day of Yah comes, judgment is being cut short. So it's not something that we should be, I can't wait till this place be destroyed, because a lot of your people are going to be destroyed with it.
Verse 14. Who knows if he will return and repent and leave a blessing behind him, even a meat offering and a drink offering unto Yahweh your Elohim.
And that what David did? King David, he fasted. His son was sick and was dying, his son from adultery. And this was the judgment that was coming on. And he knew, man, I killed the father. I got this, child that's, born in a bad about to be born in a bad situation, or born in a bad situation. And, there's probably going to be judgment coming. But he prayed anyways, and he fasted. And when Yah did Yah's judgment and the baby died, he got up and he ate. He had to deal with it. It is what it is. But that doesn't mean that you don't try to pray and fast. And who knows, Yah can change. He can change his mind. He could, for one right, he spared a city. If he find 10 righteous in the city, he'll spare the city.
Verse 15. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly. Gather the people, sanctify the congregation, assemble the elders, gather the children, and those that suck the breast. Let the bridegroom go forth of his chamber, and the bride out of her closet. Let the priests, the ministers of Yahweh, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say, Spare your people, O Yahweh, and give them not your heritage to reproach. Give not your heritage to reproach, that the heathen should rule over them. Wherefore should they say among the people, Where is their Elohim?
All right, so the priests, the ministers of Yah should be crying and praying. And who's standing in the breach for the people? Because like you said, a lot of our people just blind. They just can't see. They're not awake to what's going on. So his priests, his servants need to be crying out to Yah, asking for mercy. Please, please, Yah, be merciful, be patient with our people. You know what we have gone against. Now, we also should be praying for our ancestors as well. The sins of our ancestors is what got us here. So we should be preparing ourselves. We shouldn't take it that it's going to happen 10 weeks from now, or it's going to happen, 10 years from now. We need to approach this like we know it's at the door. We know it's coming. And if we can't get out of here, which is preference is to get out of here before it goes down. But if you can't get out of here, then you need to be paying extra close attention to verse 12 and verse 13 and rending your heart and not your clothes. Not, oh, I'm going to rip my clothes to show everybody that I'm just so sad at what's going on. No, rend your heart, circumcise, rip your heart, circumcise the fleshliness, and have a circumcised heart, which is a circumcised mind. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Amos chapter 3. Should be the next one over. Amos chapter 3. And we're just going to read verses 1 through 7.
Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Yashra'al, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Mitzrayim, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities.
So he don't know those other nations. He know of them, but he knows us. And what did he say about us? We're a sottish people. We worship him with our lips, but our heart is far from him. He has given us prophets. He has given us his firstborn son. He has given us his spirit. He's given us his name. He married us. He's done all these things and knew us and have known us. Therefore, he punishes us for all of our transgressions. So we have been punished. Now it's time for the rest of the nations to receive their punishment. But he said, start at my house first.
Verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Will a lion roar in the forest when he has no prey? Will a young lion cry out of his den if he have taken nothing?
Well, can two walk together except they agreed? So how is you going to walk in the spirit when when you're physically in the flesh? All of us are physically in the flesh. How can we walk with the spirit if we're physically in the flesh? If the flesh wants to do this and the spirit wants to do that? No, the spirit has to be in control. And the flesh has to agree that the spirit is in control, not the flesh. That's how you can walk. If not, you're going to be unstable, fighting like Legion, bunch of demons trying to fight to speak. And this is what the condition of many of our people are, walking in confusion, double-minded, calling themselves servants of the Most High, but carrying themselves like they servants of the devil. And in public, doing all kind of things, bringing blasphemy on the name of Yah. That's confusion. And all of us struggle with that and fight with that. But understand that when your life is on it, you don't want to be wobbling when you walk in the tightrope. You want to make sure you have balance and that you understand the spirit is in control right here. I'm not going to rely on my flesh because everybody going to be scared.
Verse 5. Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth where no gin is for him? Shall one take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all? Shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid?
I don't know. Because if a trumpet blew in this city, which it has, and may be getting prepared to blow again, ain't nobody afraid. Nobody cares. So y'all got to couple this with some other things like, your banking system going out. Like, the economy going out. Like your country falling, your elections being canceled, a pandemic, a hurricane season, earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, all these things. These are the things that are going to get people to be afraid. But that's the sound of the trumpet. That's what it's going to sound like when all these things are happening.
Surely my sovereign Yahweh will do nothing, but he reveals his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
So he revealed his secrets, which means the prophets, which are in this book, have secrets that were revealed. And it talks about the secret of Yah is with those that fear him, that honor him. So those that fear and honor him are going to listen to thus says Yah, the word of Yah, the prophets. So when they say things, they say, 400 years or 70 years you're going to be in Babylon. And Daniel knew in Daniel chapter 9, he knew, we only going to be here for 70 years because the prophet, y'all don't do nothing without telling the prophet first. And he told my predecessor, Jeremiah, that we're going to be here 70 years. Well, he prophesied to Daniel that we're going to be here for 70 weeks until all things is fulfilled. And then now he also told our forefather Abraham that we would be in a land that's not ours and being afflicted for 400 years. How coincidental, the one president that we say we hate the most, hate him worse than Bush. He made Bush look like a good guy. Trump. We so-called hate this guy so much, but then he's the one penning the 400-year anniversary, saying this is the 400th year. The 400th year. But once you finish the 400th year, you're in the 401st year. So now we are into something new.
Was that all we wanted to read in Amos?
Yes, 1 through 7. All right, let's go to Zephaniah, chapter 1. Zephaniah, chapter 1. Zephaniah, chapter 1. Let's start this at verse 1. Talking about this day of the trumpet again.
The word of Yahweh, which came unto Zephaniah, the son of Cushi, the son of Gedaliah, the son of Amariah, the son of Hezekiah, in the days of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Yehudah. I will utterly consume all things from off the land, says Yahweh. I will consume man and beast. I will consume the fowls of the heaven and the fishes of the sea, and the stumbling blocks with the wicked. And I will cut off man from off the land, says Yahweh. I will also stretch out my hand upon Yehudah and upon all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and I will cut off the remnant of Baal from this place, and the name of the Chemarims with the priests, and them that worship the host of heaven upon the housetops, and them that worship and that swear by Yahweh, and that swear by Malcolm, and them that are turned back from Yahweh, and those that have not sought Yahweh nor inquired for him.
All right, so all those that are worshiping, going on the tops of their houses and worshiping the stars, that's no different than Zodiac. Than saying, you know what, I'm a Scorpio, so, that means I got to be a harlot or something. Or I got to be a whoremonger because I'm a Scorpio. So I'm going to let that control me. You letting the positioning of the stars control your behavior. Saying you're going to have a bad day because somebody wrote in a internet column that you're going to have a bad day. So you're going to allow that. You're going to mistreat people. You're going to have a funky attitude. That's no different. We look at this like, oh, these people are foolish. No different than Christmas. You keeping a winter solstice. No different.
Verse 7. Hold your peace at the presence of my sovereign Yahweh, for the day of Yahweh is at hand, for Yahweh has prepared a sacrifice. He has bid his guests.
So the day of Yahweh is at hand. It's coming. It's near. And he's prepared a sacrifice. Now, what do you want to be? You want to be the sacrifice or you want to be the guests?
And it shall come to pass in the day of Yahweh's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children, and all such are as clothed with strange apparel.
All right, so this is a duality in this as well. I'm going to punish the princes. Those are the captains of tens of hundreds of thousands, because when he blew those shofars, he blew those trumpets, they didn't come to get the instruction so that they could pass this message out to the rest of the people. And then it talks about here, the king's children, all the royalty, all the people that should have known better, that were raised better, and are clothed with strange apparel, which means they're taking on the ways of the other nations. They're clothing themselves in these wicked doctrines and these other spiritualities rather than Yah's wedding garment, which is the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth.
No, I was just about to ask that if this was a parallel between the parable of the wedding feast.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, friend, how did you come in here? Remember, Pentecost opened the door. And now everybody got a pass to get in if you had a spirit. But you better be clothed for the wedding. You know you ain't on the guest list. You ain't VIP. But he opened it up to strangers. And now you trying to waltz in here. You didn't put on a suit. You didn't dress up for the way you showed up any kind of way when you weren't even really supposed to be here. Well, it's the same thing with us. We not really supposed to be here. We supposed to been killed off. We done transgressed. He came to us and we made covenant. All that Yah said we will do and all this stuff, then turned around and did the opposite. So now we're having an opportunity, and you telling me you didn't take the opportunity to go clothe yourself for this wedding? And you're the honored guest. And you still didn't clothe yourself. And that clothing is the spirit. The spirit. And the outward is just a reflection of what's in the inward. So you're going to dress in that strange apparel too, which means you're going to wear all that weird stuff that, rompers and all kind of weird things that men wearing, craziness and, these brothers walking with these really ultra feminine things, strange clothing, wearing all these homosexual clothing designer clothes and I'm victim of this too. Nike. You putting a pagan god on your shoe and all this stuff. So these are the type of things that we got to start shedding these things. And this is why the whole reason for Kodesh Fresh. Kodesh Fresh, if you don't know about Kodesh Fresh, KODESH fresh.com, is to provide clothing where we can be a walking billboard for the Most High. We can tell people who we are. We can get people to come to us and ask us, what does that mean? What are these letters on your shirt? And this is from the Ben Melech line. What are these letters? Oh, that's the 10 Commandments. Oh, we Hebrews.
What would you say to people who would say stuff like that, clothing and all that is some form of, what would you say, idolatry or
like a graven image or something like that? I would just say go look up the word, go to the commandment, look up the word graven images, pasel, and read what that is. Now, if you think that's a t-shirt, seek your own salvation with fear and trembling. If you look at that word, these are carved idols. That's where they would carve an idol and say, this is the God of this. And we worship that. No different than the little white man I used to wear hanging around my neck that was on a towel. And furthermore, we are told to make a symbol for our families, to mark our land. What you think that symbol? That symbol is a lion. That symbol is a ram, this or that or whatever, to symbolize your land. That's what we were told to do. That's not an idol. There's a difference between that. We weren't told to go put a big Yashra'al pole in front of our house. This is the house of YAH. You see where the Yashra'al pole at? Nah, that's transgression.
Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 9. In the same day also will I punish all those that leap on the threshold, which fill their masters' houses with violence and deceit. And it shall come to pass in that day, says Yahweh, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Howl, you inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off.
And that's what we don't want to see. Once they cut the system and we're not able to buy and purchase, and we got to take a mark, and we got to take a vaccine, and then once this country is destroyed after we leave, because it can't be destroyed when we're here, because we just went over that in Sodom and Gomorrah. It said, listen, for 10 people's sake, 10 righteous people, I won't destroy the place. So he gonna get them people out of here. Now, once he get those people out of here, which they could already be out for all we know, and we the remaining, destruction is coming.
Verse 12. And it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are settled on their lees.
What is that word for lees? Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 12.
H8105 is Shemer.
All right, so lees, H8105. Shemer, something preserved, that is the settlings of wine, dregs, wine. So this is the leftover wine, the preserved wine.
And punish the men that are settled on their lees, that say in their heart, Yahweh will not do good, neither will he do evil.
So these are all the people that's telling you, oh no, that 400 years, that was, I know it says 430 years, but nah, he really was off 30. It's the self same day, he just off 30 years. All those people that's telling you, oh, nothing is going to happen, everything is going to be great. That's not what thus says Yah. We going prophet after prophet after prophet telling you, man, destruction is coming. The day of Yah is coming. The trumpets are coming. And he's going to punish all the people with strange apparel, the princes. So don't listen to the people that's telling you. It said that many shall be deceived. Many people going to think that everything is not going to happen because it didn't happen right away. So people, oh, it's not going to happen. Oh, it's coming. Just like it came every other time he warned. Whether it happens today or it happens tomorrow, it's coming. So don't gainsay your own self. Don't be such a vanity of your mind that you want to prepare yourself mentally and spiritually for what's coming your way, which means a lot of repentance. Because no matter how you try to prepare yourself physically, you ain't going to be prepared for what's coming our way. We talking about Jacob's trouble, which we're going to get into next, which is the worst that we've ever seen since being a nation.
Just a quick thing on, apparently when it says settled on their leaves, apparently that's an idiom, biblical idiom. It says the leaves refer to dregs or sediments of wine or of other liquids that settle in the bottom of a containing vessel if it is not disturbed. Hence, the idiom refers to someone or something that is at ease, not disturbed, or not worried.
Right. Even keel. Say, oh, ain't nothing gonna happen. Now, it doesn't say that you have to be all shaking like a woman in travail. Now, that's a prophecy, but you don't have to be that. You could be secure in Yah. But don't be secure in Yah because the vanity of your mind that, oh, ain't nothing gonna happen. And that's what some of our own very own brothers are like that. Oh, no, it ain't gonna happen. So when it gonna happen? Not now. How you know it ain't gonna happen now? That's how you can tell what's in a man's heart. Now, do I know for sure it's gonna happen this trumpets? No. My elder believes so. There's another Gentile that prophesied that it's supposed to go down in September and November. So it very well could happen. But what I'm not gonna do is say it's not gonna happen because I don't know for sure it's not gonna happen. So I don't want to be a fool in the vanity of my mind, not preparing for what could come our way because I'm so scared that I'm just going to lie to myself so I can feel safe. That's just like the brother that say, I ain't going to train because I'm a bad man. I can go out and got in 2 fights in my life. I mean, I can fight soldiers. You can be in the vanity of your mind. You're finna go out there and get your head blown off because you didn't train. You didn't get weapons. You didn't get in shape. You didn't eat right. And you didn't get your spiritual protection.
Still in the Zephaniah?
Yeah, we're Zephaniah chapter 1.
All right. Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 13. Therefore their goods shall become a spoil, and their houses a desolation. They shall also build houses, but not inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards, but not drink the wine thereof.
All right, so it talks about as we enter into the land, we are going to be dwelling in houses we didn't build. Eating from vineyards we didn't plant, harvesting fruits and vegetables that we did not seed.
The great day of Yahweh is near, it is near, and haste greatly, even the voice of the day of Yahweh, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness.
And, when you got bad weather coming and you got a bad system coming, it don't just all of a sudden just pitch black. You can see the darkness coming our way. You can see the weather picking up the patterns and it's like, uh-oh, something is coming. Well, where are you spiritually and mentally if you can't feel what's coming? If you can't just look at the news and see what's happened this year? And why this year is happening, and you can't see this day of Yah is approaching rapidly. If you don't feel it in your spirit, the depression, the anxiety, the attacks, the heaviness that's just on you, and you're like, wait a minute, today's a good day. What's going on? It's coming. It's happening. Don't be afraid to the point where you're going to be in the vanity of your mind, especially if you're a head of a household. You can't stick your head in the sand like an ostrich and think that everybody's going to run by and not see your behind sticking up in the air. It's time for the men of Yashra'al to stand up and be men and prepare for this war that's coming. And you're not going to prepare by going to the gun range and getting a bunch of bullets. That you should have been done that. That's just what any man to do for his house. We have to be prepared spiritually, mentally, and education-wise to know what is the Father telling us next. Where do we need to go? Because we know who else is about to pop up on the scene. Who else about to pop up on the scene with this day of YAH? Anybody?
The Antichrist.
The Antichrist. The son of perdition. Those that fall away. This army that's coming here to destroy us. All these things are on their way, and they're going to fool people. That if it were possible, it would fool the very elect, because man is looking at things and signs and this and that, and the news says this, so everybody automatically believe that because they're the authority. They obviously have to be right because I've seen it on TV. Prepare yourself. You're not going to be able to believe what you see. You're going to have to believe what you read and understand in the Holy Spirit. Because the devil is crafty and he's going to give them power to do the things that you think is going to be the sign that you need to believe that that's the Mashiach. That's the answer. That's where I need to be followed. You need to be able to know, no, the words say this is how it's supposed to be. You don't fit. So you're a lie, not the word.
Just something, a comment. So this is just kind of came to me as we're reading this verse, and you can correct me if I'm off or if I'm wrong. But it says this is a day of wrath, of trouble and distress, of wasteness and desolation, darkness, gloominess. And I know a lot of people, including myself, who are in the word and trying to their best to follow YAH. A lot of this stuff we are experiencing on some level in our lives, and it just made me think, okay, if this is coming, but we're already going through our stuff and like on a personal level, you know what I'm saying, on a spiritual level, then it kind of makes me understand why I think there's a scripture in the Apocrypha in Ecclesiasticus that says something like, whatever comes upon you, take cheerfully.
Right.
And it just makes me think like, okay, well, if all of this stuff is coming, this day is coming, we know it's coming, then are not the things that we're going through right now preparation for that in a way?
Absolutely. He says again, I do not do anything without telling my servants, the prophets, first. So he told them what was coming. So we believe it. We're experiencing it. We're living through it. We're warning people about what's to come. We're learning. We're the leaders. We are the leaders. We are the captains of tens of hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands. Why? Because we're the ones that are awake. We're the ones that are not operating in the spirit of fear. When you pick your captains and all that, you say, how everybody that's scared, everybody that got a wife, you ain't had no kids, you got a house, you ain't built your vineyard yet, you haven't picked up your fruit, go home. And if you're just scared, go home. Then once the scared people go home, that's when you pick your captains, tens, hundreds of thousands. So we're going through that process right now where y'all's like, okay, you go home, you go home, you go home, you go home, and you go home. That's the process that we're in right now.
You know, in a way helping us so we don't become those people who are quote unquote settled on their leads or apathetic, you know what I'm saying? And you know, like the book says, you know, none of the chastening or anything it's not comfortable, it don't feel good, you know what I'm saying, right, to go through. It's not joyous, you know what I'm saying? But when you look at it and when you look at the things that are coming upon this world, there is a silver lining in all of it, you know what I'm saying? And that we can be thankful that, you know what I'm saying, the Father is preparing us for this, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. We're not going to be in shock because we've been going through this. We've been trying to do righteousness despite being depressed. We've been trying to do righteousness despite being attacked We've been let down. We've let ourselves down, let each other down, and we have to get back up and walk and not hold grudges against our brothers and sisters and those that are not in the word. So we're being prepared, and we are being shown ourselves, because we're not being punished because we just righteous people. We're being shown the error of our own ways because we are actually looking. So y'all's like, okay, you want to see? Here, take a look then. Look. You see? You ugly. Oh man, I need to fix this. So we fixing it. But the rest of the world, they not concerned. They don't care. Just put some makeup on. Bro, you're dead. Yeah, just put some makeup on. Ain't nobody gonna know. Bro, you a dead man walking. You're a zombie till your ear fall off. Then you have to staple it back on. That's how people walking around here, like the Walking Dead. So we should be cheerful to the point of, all right, at least we know this suffering wasn't in vain. We see what's coming. We see what's happening. We know what's coming next. Praise Yah. I was one of the individuals that Yah was merciful enough to tell first and allow me to understand.
Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 16. A day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers.
All right, so it's a day of the trumpet. That's the title of the class, the day of the trumpet. So it's letting you know when trumpets comes in, that's the day of Yah coming. There is a lot of things going on that are tied to the trumpets in this trumpet season. It's all tied into the day of Yah and judgment and the changeover. Anytime you have a changeover a system, these Gentiles not going to just bow down and be like, here you go, Israel. I know we lied. By the way, you are Israel. I'm going to acknowledge that now. So go ahead. Nah, they finna fight, kicking and screaming. They're not going to give up this. They're going to try to enlist the devil and witchcraft and every power that they can find to stop this from happening.
And I will bring distress upon men that they walk like blind men, because they have sinned against Yahweh, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung.
Remember when we read with Lot, when those homosexual men is trying to sleep with these angels, and the angels cursed them with blindness. It was so blind they couldn't even find their way back to their house. Well, this is what happens to you when you sin. It causes blindness. So there's so much wickedness going on in the world that he that lets will be moved out the way. Will no longer prevent. Moved out the way, and now the judgment is coming for all those people. They blind in the dark. They have no clue because they did not seek the light. They ran from the light. It says if your eye be single and it's full of light, your whole body's full of light. But if it's full of darkness, how great is that darkness? And that's what these people are going to be going through. They're going to be angry, depressed, sad, afraid, just like when it went dark in Egypt and you hear all the demons out and all the sounds and the animals and the screaming and the wailing and the crying. And they are going to be struck. That's it. They won't know how to operate because they did not seek the light. It says walk in the daytime when you can see. You didn't want to walk in the daytime. You didn't want to perfect your walk so you can see the narrow path when it's day. Now you got to find the narrow path in pitch black darkness.
Verse 18. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahweh's wrath.
So this is Laodicea being spewed out. You thought, that's the last church. You thought in Revelation chapter 3, because you had money, because you had big houses, you had a huge congregation, you had all this stuff that from a worldly perspective made you look like you had it set. But in the day of Yah, you're not going to be able to buy your way out with no silver and no gold. Because those people that are coming here to kill you, they don't care about your silver and gold. You're not going to buy your way out of this. You can't buy Yah's judgment with some money. Well, I'm going to put some money in the collection plate. Now it's a new system. There's a new monetary system. Things are being switched over.
Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahweh's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land.
All right. Now let's go to the conclusion. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 30.
Question.
Yes, sir.
When it says jealousy here, jealousy is referring to
What verse are you talking about?
in the last verse, Zephaniah 1 and 18.
Mm-hmm.
It's not meaning jealous as envious, but it's meaning jealousy as in I'm trying to protect something, right? Like,
Jealousy as in adultery. You've been playing the harlot. This is my daughter. This is my children. This is my wife. I'm married unto you. And you knew I was coming back. And I told you, you knew I was going to be gone for 400 years. And it's 401st year. And you telling me you ain't get your lover out the house yet? You didn't have enough sense to get your adulterer out the house? You wouldn't even get him out the house? You mean I got to come in here and I got to kill him too? And I know what you're doing? So this is how y'all dealing with us.